Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Getting ready for 11:11. Soulful Mondays with Ann Sousa. This is Ann Sousa, founder of Heal in the Global Village and Global Firewalk Institute owner. And I say to you, good morning this Monday, Lord Shiva Day. Namaste. And today I have Sage Moffitt, who is live, and I'm going to have her introduce herself. But let me just take a minute before 11:11. We'll have a moment of silence, and that moment of silence every Soulful Monday is just to really take a moment of silence for yourself, you, the viewer, whether you're live or see this recording after. We are Zoom recording and streaming through Heal in the Global Village Facebook Live. So welcome everyone. I want to just say, as I say, every video recording is this is real, raw, and organic. There's no pre-recording here in the sense of rehearsing. It's not my stick. It's not my thing. So yes, I welcome you all here. I'm also looking for people to come, spiritual entrepreneur, healer practitioners. And I'm also looking for average, people in the world. I'm looking for CEOs to have tea with the VPs. Also, for people out in the world that are working in the mundane modernity life, to know and remember that you too have a soul. And so we are soulfully providing a menu here. I'm soulfully looking to have a menu here to really talk about what's happening in your life and what you're doing in your life's work, passion, purpose, and how might that be impacting, affecting, feeding your soul, and maybe how it might not be. And so there's a great call to action here on Soulful Mondays with Ann Sousa, which is a remembrance. So Sage, why don't you take a few minutes, introduce yourself. We'll hear a little ding ding, go off with the timer, and then we'll take that moment of silence so that we can assist in a prayer to heal the global village, that being you all. Okay.
Wonderful. Welcome. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you, Ann, for having me on here. I'm excited. My name is Sage Moffitt. I'm a licensed massage therapist by trade, but I'm so much more than that. I'm also an herbalist, a medical aromatherapist, a Reiki master teacher. I do shamanic journeying. I'm an intuitive. And my latest, greatest thing to my tool bag is I am a Global Firewalk Instructor. So I'm really excited about that new chapter of my life. And my website is introduce this to me. It is organic here. Sacred Grove Healing Arts Center.
Yeah, wonderful. And so maybe we'll have you, once this broadcast, just like we did last week with Dr. Carlos Perez, the doctor of sound music, we'll have you put a little link there for people to see what you might have to offer and, healing and bringing your medicine to the world.
Beautiful, absolutely.
So tell us, we got about 3 minutes before, and we'll just, interrupt it like we do and just have that moment of silence at 11:11. So you might ask, like, what is it with you in 11:11? So 11:11 for me is, great, big, huge, as Carolyn May says. And that goes, it's something I've shared with my oldest elder, who's 88, for the last 35 years. And 11:11 has, it's a master number that holds and has been a very sacred, energetic numerology portal, I guess. So, I do my best to plan things so that we can have this 11:11 moment. So, and because it holds a numerology that opens into the master, this is a great time for you all to have a prayer for yourself and a moment of silence. Just a minute is, a minute can go a long way. It's a pause. And it's a time to just feel presence and create an opening. That's what it is. It's really like just create a pause, create a presence, and create an opening for a potential that can be an activation from this moment, from this minute, from any one of my guests that shares something, or I share something in these Soulful Mondays from this podcast, and where you can potentially go. So again, I always like to share. We got 1 more minute, so I'm just going to fill it, and then we'll come on with Sage after that minute. So, again, as I say to many people, students, entrepreneur leaders that I coach and mentor spiritually and such, is, I have great big motive here. And the motive is to bring the healing of the global village. But first, we have to bring the healing inside of ourselves and create that, so that there's a platform here, there's a container here for you, the viewer, to know that you have a gift. And your gift, let me lean in, is important to me. It's important to the world. So wherever you're at in your life, right now, right here, this breath, this moment, you matter. In all your perfect imperfection. That will take that minute. So lean into that. And so it is.
It is.
And so what might you have to say about, you have a gift? And we all have a soul. And what are we doing with our souls here, folks? So yeah, share a little bit, if you might, about, where have you come from, in the sense, and what was like, every speaker, I am looking to have that reflection of, there's this moment, you're in life, you're doing a 9-to-5 job, whatever that is, and, tell us a little bit about where you come from like that.
Okay. I have been in education a lot, working in the school system as a 9-to-5 job, probably about 10 years ago, maybe. And what I realized is going every day, that 9-to-5, and our hours were never just 8-hour shifts. They were always longer. It was very demanding. And what I realized after a while was that I wasn't being fulfilled. There was stuff missing. So as I started my journey to start finding what that piece was missing, and even though I had my massage practice and I also ran a store, a retail store, I had that, there still was stuff missing. And what I realized, it was the personal work for myself to be able to hold a container for people to work with. So I quit the school. Then I ended up working part-time for a doctor's office, and still it was just something had to give. It was either I was still going to be in the mainstream world, or I was going to actually take the time to work on myself. So I quit that job and I took the time to work on myself. And I think it's going to be an ongoing thing. I don't think it's going to be over one time, but so that's kind of where it brought me to you, where I met you, and doing the Firewalk class. And that whole piece brought me into doing an apprenticeship with you, a personal one-on-one that is really starting to open my eyes to really listen to my heart and my soul and understand and figure out what it is that I really want to do to live a soulful life now and not wait.
Yeah, good point, right? Because, we do exist in the world, and as I say, often we can live in the world and not necessarily have to be worldly. And, what does that mean for the person listening to this, Ian? Like, what do you mean? Well, what I mean by that is in Carolyn Mace's work, she talks about, the archetype of the prostitute. So there's actually 4 archetypes that she references within. We all have it. If you, kind of believe in some of her theories about the shadow work, which, feeds from the wounded child. So, it all kind of packs into this backpack of how we then go out into the world and we start this intention to this particular job of whether it's teaching or you said you worked in a doctor's office. I think that's when I met you. You were still in that doctor's office,
Yes.
and you were kind of up to here with I'm out of here, and I'm like, whoa, Betty, slow down, because really, instead of leaving a person, place, or thing, and in other words, a job, a relationship, or something, there's a way to do it that is less from abandonment because you're so frustrated and more from a place of empowerment. And I think that's, really some of what I taught you, fair to say, was do it from, your spine is straight, you're erect, and you got clarity in your vision, that you're not a victim from this job situation circumstance that's actually sucking your energy life force versus feeding it. Anything you want to say on that?
Yeah, and that's a really good point about understanding the dynamics behind making choices. So with the job, we do, and I've done this plenty of times in the past where I'm done and I want to leave for whatever reasons. There's 1,001 reasons that can happen, and then you just cut your hands, you swipe, and then you go. But the ramifications of that, what I'm learning is when we come from a place of respect, from ownership, from, I choose this, then that I'm done and, I can't do this anymore, it really does change. And that completeness, that I walked away in such a different state than what I've done in the past. So it's powerful. It's very powerful.
It is powerful. Beautiful. And I have to say, there's many gifts in the world for me that, doing this work, whether it's apprenticeships or, global firewalking to mentoring healer practitioners, entrepreneur leaders. One of the greatest gifts is the gift of witness. Mm-hmm. So truly to witness you has been just in a short amount of time. I think of you like a bull in a pin. You were so ready to just come out and, waiting for that particular person, place, thing, medicine to aid and assist the remembrance of what you already have within you to do your purification, to do your work. And it's been a beautiful gift always. It's a beautiful the gift of witness. And so I want to go back to the word you used was completion, because when I think back, many of us, for whatever reason, as we're in the mundane world and we're working and we're in relationships and all our relations, when things turn to that it's not soulfully feeding, whether we're conscious of not. And again, what does that mean in soulfully feeding? Well, you can start to, you, the viewer, start to, if you have the capacity to take an honest inventory of yourself to what's feeding and sustaining you. In other words, what you look at is some of your behavior. Am I cranky, pissy, and miserable? And am I sucking the joy out of myself and everybody else? Well, chances are then there's something to look at, right? It's not about like being happy, joyous, and free all day long either. This isn't a new agey, Soulful Monday here. I'm not talking about a new age movement or anything along those lines. We have enough of that in the world. I'm talking about like real, authentic capacity to sit with the gross, messy, chaotic aspects of yourself in that internal fire and have the ability, the tools to do the refinement, to do the purification. And so often what happens to many of us, and you spoke about it, and we kind of shine the light on this. I see this in couples and marriages and relationships and jobs. It's like, that's it, I'm out of here and I'm done. So it's this energy of abandonment because there's a level of frustration because the person has been people pleasing, giving, not having that reciprocity or that ani, that feeding to the heart, the soulful self. It's like ego driven. And even with some of the external messaging that says you can't leave that job. How are you going to leave that job? How are you going to support yourself? How are you going to this? How are you going to that? I watched you do the internal work as I gave you ritual prescriptions and protocols to do your internal gross, chaotic, messy work with your own fire, and then watched you sublimate it into not abandonment and not a people pleaser, but really a refinement that brought about a clarity because you knew you were complete in that. And so now here you are in, not a full-time job and, leaning further into the medicine woman of your skills that you have. And so how is that now? What evidence might you see, sniff out that there's something that's been sparked in that spirit of your fire flame?
That's a good question. I think I would have to say is it's the space that I come from now is more calm. Not that I don't have crazy, chaotic moments, because I still do, but my ability to own my stuff, to understand where I'm coming from, and then letting it go, handing it over to God, spirit, whatever you want to label that energy, and then just being able to sit and witness and partake that way, than through ego or I have to do this or I have to do that. I don't have to do anything. What I choose to do is work with spirit and really start living from a more authentic place.
Beautiful. And so, I always like to kind of extract what people are not saying. So what I just heard you say is you're less compliance driven and more ownership able.
Yes.
Yeah. And so folks here viewing, this is like great big huge in the sense of, because anything in our lives, and I'm talking now from a corporate head, right? I won't say who, but I was a director of safety in this organization. I had 23 stores, 3 states. And it was all about compliance. It was all about profit, product, and then people. And what I'm saying in the Soulful Mondays here and in my messaging is that, listen, folks, we can live in the world. We don't have to be worldly. You can have all the things you want to obtain, the home, the money, the prestige, the nice, motorcycles. For me anyways, I'm a motorcycle. I have my, convertible Mustang here in Florida and, whatever. I mean, here's the thing, folks. At the end of the day, when we leave the physical body, it's the soulful journey. And we don't get to take any of the stuff we've accumulated with us. What are we taking? The soul on the journey. So why not become a little more soulfully conscious as we're navigating through the world? And what I just heard Sage say and not say is that it's not so much being driven from compliance, that there's an empowerment. And for you folks that are in the world working, whatever jobs you're working, in relationship with whatever relationships you're in, because life is all relational with people, places, and things, is that you can participate. You can be full on presence and be in ownership, less in compliance because if you look at, Sage, the model that was created of compliance versus ownership, there's a whole grid and graphic and teaching that I do there, because when you're in the house of compliance, what comes underneath that topic is several tentacles of it's right, it's wrong, it's good, it's bad, it's shame, it's blame, it's judgment. Now, go over to the next house, ownership. When you have ownership, there's choice able, I'm account able, and it creates an expansiveness and an ownership that aligns you more to your divinity. Because ownership versus compliance is in system structures and paradigms, which don't necessarily address your true, authentic path, purpose, and mission from what your soul is here to do. But when you're in ownership, it brings about a format, or not even a format, a flow, a fluidity that can align your mind and spine in the third dimensional realm. But somehow there's like this tethering into the cosmic consciousness, the flame of God, the spirit of fire, the spirit of, God, whatever that is for you. What is it that soulfully has an arc and a spark that feeds you? That's what I'm asking you here on these Soulful Mondays. All of humanity. I don't have an avatar here. I'm not looking to just talk to spiritual entrepreneurs, healer practitioners, shamans, quantum healers, leaders. No, I'm looking to have a conversation with all of humanity who has a soul. And we all have one. The physical body's carrying, it's the vehicle to the soul. So yeah, that's, what we're doing here and looking at. And so now, Sage, what is a gift? I know you have many. I continue to see and witness, thank you so much, and to share
You're
what
welcome.
I witness, what I see in this mirror reflection, and even say back for when we forget. This is why it's so beneficial, folks that are listening, to be connected, threaded into some community. So, of course, I'm going to share that, Heal in the Global Village private group. If you want to become a member within that, I think there's 220 people. That's a good place where you can come and kind of start to share and become a little intimate with some of your gifts. So what gift might you, because I always want to, it's not just about coming here, talking, sharing to people and activating you. It's also about assimilating, integrating, translating so that you have an application. So there's something here that you can take away to go inside, look at your gross chaotic fire, the messiness in your life. We all have it. I'm in a messy piece of fire right now as I weed out many aspects of who I thought I was 2 weeks ago, never mind 2 months ago. So, if you're in the purification and refining from within, then there's always this evolution. So what might you suggest, give for somebody that has an application that they can have a moment, a pause, and a silence with themselves to just start to ponder, wonder, lean in a little to who you might be and what might you have for a gift to feed yourself, your loved ones, community, and the globe. So what might you have?
Well, I had several things kind of flash through my mind really quickly, but I think what I'd like to offer the people who are watching to kind of go along with this ownership compliance piece that you were just talking about was to take a cup of tea, whether it's a lavender tea with lemon balm, whatever, and take your cup of tea. It could be iced tea. It's hot out, we're in summer, and just go sit outside somewhere, take a little piece of paper, journal, whatever, and just really sit and be with nature and just tune in and be quiet and just listen to what your heart is saying. And don't worry about monkey mind, acknowledge it, let it go back, and then just bring yourself back to breathing. And I think that's a really good place and one of the gifts that I've done many times myself to offer to everybody.
Beautiful. Great suggestion.
Yeah.
So allowing and giving yourself some space, place, and grace to be in reflective. And to do that, as she said, no monkey mind, but also I invite you to go into that with witnessing, when you have this witness, to see just where your judge and your jury might be. Because what happens sometimes in that judge and that jury, and what does that mean, is you start to judge where you are. I should be here, I should be there. And there's this projection. And when we do this projecting, reflecting, projecting, it takes us out of the presence. So as you have that, and it's beautiful, thank you for recommending nature, because nature has an elevation about it. It has a vibration and a frequency. And, how delicious is whether a cold or a hot cup of lavender lemon tea. So this is a great suggestion, a great remedy, great, could call it a ritual prescription, but, we're not medical folks here. And however you choose to, if you choose to, just know that you're in full ownership. You're in full empowerment from, the place of not compliance, but, ownership, to start to ignite, activate, witness. Where are you right now? And what is feeding you and your soul? And what might be, driving you? Is it from the ego? Is it from the attachment and attainment of the things and stuff? There's no judgment here. It's because you can have things and stuff and all of that. It's like I say, be in the world and not of the world, worldly. And then to also just end here, we're going to end. It's usually, 21 minutes, sometimes a little longer, to say that, today's a new day, that every day you and I are blessed to wake up again. We can do it all over. So whatever yesterday was or wasn't, however it was, let it go and move and lean into the possibilities of a soulful Monday for yourself. And so I thank you all for coming, witnessing, watching later on down the road. Please do look up Ann Sousa on YouTube. I'll air this also there. And please do like, share, comment here on Facebook and on Hailing the Global Village Facebook page. We're going to also put Sage's website there. Look her up. She's very talented healer, practitioner, leader, and amazing firewalk instructor. I know she said that she was in the Global Firewalk Institute, and she is, but let me just highlight her a little. She's also, because Global Firewalk Institute has several levels. It's a premier school. And in those several levels, there is a elite trainer and a mythical master. So she's actually in the mythical masters program, but at the elite trainer level right now. So it's a process, it's a journey. But really, we're coming here. Yes, we're talking about services we might have or offer you. That's not the point of Soulful Mondays. Soulful Mondays are really just to get the message out that no matter where you are in the world, what you're doing, you can do it from a level of intimacy, connection to the spirit of fire within you, the flame of God, and most the divinity. Because when our mind and spine is in divinity alignment, naturally your passion, your purpose comes to fruition. And this is what I say, welcome home to your soulful self, and check us out here throughout the months. There will be quite a soulful menu and some amazing speakers like we had last week and today, and going further and with future guests here. So I want to thank you, Sage, truly, for allowing me to witness your gifts that you bring to the world. And for all of you, please do lean in and know that you matter. And what you have to say and your gifts to the world are important. So thank you for being here, and Soulful Mondays with Ann Sousa, Hailing the Global Village and the Global Firewalk Institute. Blessings on your journey, and journey well. Thank you so much. All right. So let me stop.